One of the types of difficulty I see in my clinical work is what is sometimes called failure to launch. These are young people who are aging out of adolescence but having a hard time taking on a fulfilling, independent adulthood. Now, I actually hate that term, failure to launch. It's got that unpleasant word, failure, right up front, and it implies that the problem is kind of final. But it usually isn't. It's a delay. It's not an endpoint. I prefer to call it delayed transition to adulthood because that's what it is. Now, I could go into all kinds of detail about it, and I've done some of that in other videos, but I have a particular topic in mind this time. In this video, I'm focused on the role of the parents. Now, sometimes it's not the young person who's coming to see me. It's mom or dad, or both. Now, that can sound like sometimes I'm the lawyer for the son or daughter, and sometimes I'm the lawyer for the parents, but I'm not. If I'm seeing the young person, I am on the young person's side. If I'm seeing their parents, I am still on the young person's side. Why? Because their development and progression in life is good for both them and for the parents who are seeing me. And I make that explicit. You see, the problem is that the parents and the son or daughter are almost always in some kind of power struggle. The parents are trying to make their son change, but he's not a kid anymore. He's not supposed to be obeying mom and dad. He is an adult. So he has to resist that pressure that his parents are putting on him. How do you do that? By not doing what they tell him to do. Stay right where he is. Stuck. The parents are so focused on the young person that they're not aware of their own role in the problem. So long as they want their son to change, they're stuck. They feel helpless, which is actually kind of good because they are helpless. They're seeing it right. They cannot make him change. So they need to stop trying and change themselves instead. Part of the motive for this post is an email that I received from a parent in another country describing a fairly standard delayed transition to adulthood. Now, who knows, because I didn't actually see anybody in this family, but the fascinating thing was at one point in the email they said that their son would not accept any help. Now that's odd, because the nature of this problem is that the young person is getting more help than they really need. If they're not getting any help, they're off the launch pad. It cannot be failure to launch. So I said, hang on. That's amazing. He's not accepting accommodation or food or transportation or money or anything? And they said, oh, well, actually. Now what they meant was, he's not accepting the kind of help that they thought he needed. He wouldn't go to therapy. But in fact, he was totally open to accepting all that other kind of help. So one of the things I do with parents is I get them to identify all the kinds of help that they are providing. No recommendations at this point. Let's not change anything. Let's just see what's going on now. What we usually discover is that parents are giving lots of help, and their son or daughter is accepting it. But it's almost all help to stay stuck, not help to move forward. So what are we talking about? Well, first I'll ask, who's paying for accommodation? Like who is it who pays the rent or the mortgage? Usually it's the parents. What about condo fees or insurance? Parents. Electricity, water, gas, cable, Netflix? Parents. Furniture, sheets, kitchenware, carpets? Parents. Okay. So imagine you've got this spare room and you're going to take in a roommate, a boarder. What would fair market value be for that in your town? $1,000? Okay. Now, how much are you charging your daughter? $200 a month. Okay. Or free. Okay. Let's do the math and figure out your annual subsidy to them. Again, we're not going to change anything right away. We're just looking. Keep in mind, very few parents charge full market rate to their kids. They'll often give them a break while they're going to university, for example. Now, Mom and Dad, you tell me that you're really frustrated that your son plays video games all the time or is always on the computer. How did he afford that computer? You bought it. Oh, okay. What about the game device? Christmas. Okay. The special chair. Okay. Who pays for the Wi-Fi for the house? Yeah, okay. You'd be surprised at how much parents complain about something he's using that they are buying for him. If you run into families like this, I hate that my husband drinks 3 bottles of wine every night. Wow. Does he buy it in bulk or what? Oh, I buy it for him. Huh? What about the phone? He's always on his phone. Oh, who bought that? Parents. Who pays the monthly? Parents. Okay, well, what if he goes over? Parents. Right? So the outcome for him, if he goes over, is nothing. No difference. And you're wondering why he doesn't seem to care. Huh? What about transportation? Do you loan her the car? Oh, no, you bought her one. Okay. Does she have to pay for the gas? No. Insurance? Huh. I'm getting the picture. I know a parent who bought a car for their son who didn't take care of it, so they bought him a newer one. And he didn't take care of that one either. Really? I'm shocked. Every message he is getting is you don't have to be responsible. Why would you be more responsible if you don't have to be? It's more fun being irresponsible. Okay, meals. Who does the shopping, right? Who pays for the food? And who makes the meals? Who cleans up the kitchen afterward? Is it equal between the various adults in the house? Remember, there are no children here, right? Is it equal, or does one person do more of that? And are there any special accommodations? Sometimes somebody won't make their own meals or meals for the family, and mom is making a whole separate vegetarian or keto diet for them. It's like a restaurant. Sometimes the son won't come to the table for meals, and the parents say, why does my son expect me to deliver a meal tray to his room? Well, because you do it, right? Can I come and live there too? The room service sounds great. What about cleaning? Who cleans up the young person's room and does their laundry? Is it them, or does someone else do it? Now, this is an even split. Sometimes the young adult actually does do their own laundry and cleaning of their room. What about the shared areas of the house? Who vacuums the living room, or cleans the bathrooms, or the kitchen? And what about the outside? Who mows the lawn, cleans out the gutters, shovels snow, keeps the garden? How much? You know, almost always the young person does some of it, but is it an equal share? And if they're not working or going to school, do they do more than an equal share? Which would be reasonable after all. So all of these are different types of help and support that parents might be offering and the young person is accepting. And what the parents are trying to do is continue offering it, but make their son or daughter refuse to take it. You know, grab the lawnmower out of mom's hands, start cooking even if they don't have to, turn down the money. And that's not happening. No big surprise, really. The challenge is to help everyone see what their roles are and imagine how they could be different. What would you like? I'd like not to make dinner every night of the week. Okay. What would it be like to stop? Maybe just one night at first. Maybe Thursday is not your night to cook, right? You get that Thursday off. Well, the problem is that the kinds of help the parents have fallen into are usually disincentives for the young person to move forward. If I start paying for my own stuff, it costs money that right now I don't have to spend. If I learn to cook for myself, it takes time that I don't have to take. If I move out, I have to pay all those bills that right now somebody else is going to pay for me. Becoming independent is all downside. At least it can look that way. So part of the job is to reduce the number of those disincentives. So partly it's about not parenting as much, but there's something odd. Parents think it's hard to do all this stuff for their adult son or daughter, but just try to get them to lighten up. It's really hard. I can't just abandon my child. Well, for one thing, again, there is no child. I don't see any kid here. All I see is a 23-year-old or a 30-year-old. But a big part of it is still caring for and supporting your son or daughter, but changing the kind of support you give and the amount, so that instead of supporting withdrawal or dependence, we're supporting the development of a bigger and more fulfilling life, more fulfilling for them. It's the difference between buying the vodka for your alcoholic spouse and buying gas so you can give them a lift to the AA meeting. Same support, different focus. In the next video, I'll give you some examples about how that can work.